Hey everyone, it's Leroy, and I'm here to give you a midweek update. This update is going to be different than some of the prior updates. Not going to spend any time talking about coronavirus case counts or where operations stand or some of the businesses. I'll handle all that during the end of week update on Friday. Instead, what I'd like to do is take the time to address the recent events that have unfolded here in the United States over the past month or so. And talk about my own personal stance as well as the company's stance on those issues. So let me start by saying that there aren't words strong enough to express how disgusted I feel about the despicable acts perpetrated on George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor over the past few months. And I recognize that they were just the latest in a long but sad history of unwarranted violence against the African American community. My heart goes out to the African American community, and especially to my African American colleagues at Koppers. I want you to know that I accept my responsibilities as the CEO of Koppers to push for positive change, both within our organization as well as outside it, in regards to the demonization and dehumanization of members of our society solely based upon their gender, the color of their skin, or other aspects of their personal identity. If anyone at Koppers finds that they're struggling with the fallout from these recent events, help is out there. You can utilize our Employee Assistance Program, which your manager or any culture and engagement member can direct you to. Additionally, you can speak to your direct manager, Lance Hyde, our Global Director of Inclusion and Diversity, or Dan Groves, our Vice President of Culture and Engagement. I wholeheartedly believe that our zero harm culture has positioned us to make strong advancements in the areas of inclusion and respect for diversity. The very foundation of zero harm leadership is built upon empathy, or the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. And what we saw enacted in the George Floyd incident was the total lack of empathy for another human being. There's a great saying I heard yesterday, and it's proximity breeds empathy, distance breeds distrust. So take a moment and let that sink in. Proximity breeds empathy, distance breeds distrust. Now, the closer we are to someone, the more we understand and can identify with that individual, the more empathy we feel. The further away we feel, the less we understand. The less we understand, the less we trust and identify with that person, and therefore empathy comes in short supply. What do you think it is that stirs your emotions when you read or see a story on TV or online that touches you in a certain way? I want you to think about it. When you feel the sadness or are brought to tears by a story about someone that you've never seen or met before in your life, it's because of the proximity or familiarity that you feel to that person that triggers empathy. You may share the commonality of being a parent, a child, working in the same profession, maybe just finding yourself in a similar position as that person at some point in your life that makes you feel closer. And now all of a sudden you're shedding tears over someone you know next to nothing about. It's powerful. I would like all of us to commit to spending more time to trying to figure out what we have in common. That's what I try to do every time I visit a different Koppers site. People wonder why I spend so much time visiting our sites and what I get out of it. But what I get out of it is a better understanding of the challenges our people have to deal with on a day in and day out basis. But even more importantly, if I'm successful, then I get to connect with individuals of all backgrounds and show that there's much more that binds us together than what separates us. And that's been my advice to all of our leadership here at Koppers. Get to know your people. Understand what their issues are and what motivates them. Find out what you share in common. Talk openly about what separates you and seek to understand where the other person's coming from. Using those tools will only serve to make us a stronger team that leads with empathy and compassion. It's a shame that all the travel restrictions and shelter-in-place orders brought on by COVID-19 has really hampered our ability to kickstart our inclusion and diversity efforts here at Koppers. We brought Lance Hyde, our new and first Global Director of Inclusion and Diversity, onto the Koppers team at the end of February, and the plan was to get him out to the sites immediately, to get him learning the business, meeting as many people as he could throughout Koppers, and bringing our Inclusion and Diversity Committee together to really look at how we could advance inclusiveness throughout our organization. Unfortunately, that hasn't happened in the way we had hoped, and now we need to figure out a way to get this kick-started without the ability to maybe get out and travel as freely as we had hoped. So we'll figure that out. My pledge to you is to make sure that we don't waste any more time and we get that initiative started. I want to thank all of you for hearing me out, and I want to thank you also for the signs of support and your trust in me to help guide us through these tumultuous times. You'll be hearing shortly about the virtual signing of the pledge to stand together as one Koppers against all acts of injustice, which I hope you all join me in signing. Until Friday, everyone, continue, please. Stay safe and stay strong.